monstrous depths. Are we back in Dawnshore? Already?
This is Sapadal's doing. I'm certain of it. No power in Aora could transport us so quickly, or so far. What happened to the living land started long ago, and we're going to finish it.
Are you seeing this? I don't think Paradis looked like this when we left it.
Looks like the war already started, and the giant roots are winning.
Marius, vines don't usually get that big this quickly, do they?
Based on their growth and size, I'd say we've been gone 2 or 3 weeks.
Hey, at least you didn't let 6 years go by.
Who knows if the garden affected time, or merely our perception of time, assuming there's even a difference.
It's like how a body fights an infection. The fever gives you strange dreams that feel like an eternity.
Look at this place. It feels like we're still in the dream. And not just us. Those are more your people's ships in the harbor, and steel Garrote banners past the barricades. That can't be good.
Even Reingrim is here. Perhaps we'll get to see an Archmage in action.
I think I see Elia as well. What a strange reunion this will be.
The Blessed Wardens are here too. That conflict we've been trying so hard to prevent started without us.
It's who strikes last that counts.
The Steel Garrote have been itching for a fight this whole time. This would have happened with or without us.
Before we go, what happened back there with the Dream Scourge and Sapadal?
I'm not sure. That's good, right?
It's a relief that the Dream Scourge won't be a problem. I only hope we can say the same about Sapadal. Time will tell, I suppose.
After all this time, they're free. And the living land is free to heal.
We've cured the land, and we've even freed a caged god. All in all, rather a successful day.
Kin and God entwine. The flower shades the soil in which it grows.
We should take a look. See if we can get ahead of whatever storm is brewing down there.
People seem to be gathering west of here. Whatever's happening, let's be a part of it.
Sansa, how did you make it out here?
Is there snow here?
It's gotta be Reingrim's work.
A familiar face.
Snow and Shatterscar.
We meet again, Envoy. Paradis burns, thanks to Luduin and the Steel Garrote laying siege to it. But the Dream Scourge is gone.
It wouldn't be the first time she's come back.
It's remarkable how hard you mortals fight for causes that'll be forgotten within centuries. Still, I do think the world has been irrevocably, if minimally, changed by your actions. Perhaps a new god being set loose on the world is certain to have consequences. Mostly, I'm curious about whether you think you've made the right choice. Wise answer, that. I am interested in seeing the outcome of your story, Envoy. With luck, it won't end with you also on fire. Unfortunately, you'll likely be dead the next time I return to the Living Lands. Goodbye, Envoy. And Yardsley, I do look forward to when all of this is done. I am eager to work with you.
Oh, yes. We'll, discuss that later.
Envoy? Is it really you? Mihala told us you went into some place called the Garden to seek a god?
When you didn't return, we took you for dead.
What did you see there? The god you felt in Makutadek? The origin of the Dream Scourge? It was the act of a god this whole time?
Everyone, please, please. We could get to the bottom of this if you would only let them speak. It's been weeks, Envoy. What happened?
Sapadal was responsible for the Dream Scourge. Their rage, their confusion, their fear.
But the plague isn't over. Dream Thralls still litter Shatterscarp.
There won't be any new infections. We've put a stop to that for good. Unfortunately, there's little we can do for those already in the grip of the Dream Scourge. We can give them comfort, nothing more. This will be a process. The Dream Scourge was never going to simply go away overnight.
I suppose it stands to reason. I found that a quick fix is often anything but. What of this god, then? What does it mean that you freed them? Ludwine had intimated that this land grew a new god. But how can that be?
Giada and I have some theories about the nature of the Adra in the Living Lands.
I'd say we're past the point of theorizing.
If the Adra here is a closed system, like a terrarium for our souls, then a gradual accumulation of essence could coalesce into a being in the beyond.
Much like the formation of gemstones. All it takes is time and the right application of pressure.
Wodka no doubt saw Sapadal as a threat to her authority. So, she killed the godless and imprisoned their god.
I assume it is this god we have to thank for the roots tearing apart Paradis? They erupted from the earth the moment those bastards stood up their first siege tower.
Naku Tedek was riven with those things, not to mention what they did to the land.
We saw similar destruction at Nakuku Bell. If these roots and the Dream Scourge are the work of a god, and the gods thought it best to imprison this god, how could you let such a creature go free?
Let's hope they don't decide to further amend themselves by coming for our heads.
It was Adir's arrival that disturbed Sapadal. We'll have nothing to fear from this god once we expel you from our lands.
Sapadal's power ravaged my people. I don't know that I can ever trust it.
Keeping watch over Sapadal was a sacred task Nandru gave us when he left. For that reason alone, my wardens owe them their allegiance.
Well, whatever happens, I suppose we can't put the godling back in the bottle now. But come, we have more pressing matters to attend to. The Steel Garrote have attacked Paradis. Inquisitor Ludwine has already joined the battle. She must have traveled like the wind to get here so fast.
You did. I kicked her corpse when you weren't looking. Just to be sure.
Well, she's seen better days, but you wouldn't know it judging by how she fights.
Ludwine's plowed through the militia like a knife through warm butter.
All right, let's keep the similes to ourselves.
Oh, cheer up. You wouldn't be the first to make that mistake. Might not be the last either, depending on how things go. So long as her passion for Wodika lives, so too will her spirit.
Then we destroy her faith, and the rest of her will follow. I have a theory about this. Let's talk at camp if you want to hear it. But I think we can kill her.
Oh, good. That will be easy.
It is not, I think, impossible. Well, you might not believe me, but I didn't want any of this to happen. It was Ludwine who called for the attack.
I didn't hear an answer, Ambassador.
She and her Steel Garrote laid siege to the city, shortly after you beat her to the garden.
We've had no news from inside for several days. From what we can observe, southern Paradis is in pieces, and the remaining militia batters at the gates to no avail.
Is there nothing our people can do?
Given the state of our supply routes after the Dream Scourge, and the Steel Garot's destruction, we expect the people trapped inside will run short of fresh food and clean water in a matter of days.
We brought as many Hale and Abel from Thirdborn as would come. But after the Dream Scourge and our losses from Nakukubel, we could spare so few. I worry it won't be enough.
Likewise, my wardens are still reeling from effects of the eruption. The keep was saved, but there is much to repair, particularly if we are to endure a siege. Most of my men remain at the keep. I can't risk them against the Steel Garot for the sake of Paradis, not when we are so few.
Well, that's been a point of debate. We can't agree on how to stand against the Steel Garot, nor who should lead the effort.
Nobody wants to risk their people at the front.
So you let the Paradis militia go it alone?
Even if our meager forces should make it inside.
The siege won't end until Ludwig does. And none of you know how to kill her.
Precisely. The lawful settlement of a new Adirian colony, supposedly. Or the establishment of a Wodekin state. She could win with a godlike in her ranks. Your presence would serve as a powerful endorsement. She doesn't believe we're here to quell dissent. She's growing the Empire, whether it wants that or not. Remember, she has an obligation to Wodica, a solemn oath. And neither the Steel Garot nor the Queen that was look kindly upon oathbreakers.
Because a victory here would discourage resistance elsewhere. The better question is, why didn't you stop her?
Excuse me? She's a 7-foot-tall skeleton powered by her devotion to the goddess of retribution. This isn't my fault.
Sure. Just blame the dead woman. Very mature.
Who else should I blame exactly? Our envoy, perhaps? For not stopping Ludwig in the tusks?
You could start with blaming your own incompetence.
Ludwig's the muscle. I'm merely the personality. What was I supposed to do? Frown her into submission?
What good are you as a diplomat if you can't even keep your own beast under control?
The Inquisitor was so convinced the Living Lands would unite against Adir that she's nearly made it true. One people, one law, one true God. That's Ludwig's vision for the Living Lands. The Inquisitor answers only to Wodica. In attacking Paradis, she has dragged us all far beyond the bounds of the Emperor's desires. I've answered your questions. Now I would like you, all of you, to answer mine. Ludwig has sent a message to the Emperor informing him of her attack. He will send advisors and reinforcements swiftly in response. What will his representatives find when they arrive? A new colony? A budding grave room? Before you face Ludwig, you should know what you're fighting for. All of you must decide, together. But whatever you decide, understand, the days of the frontier are done. Adir will come. Indeed, we are already here. Oh, Envoy, no. Do not suggest that lightly. Think of the Emperor. There would be reprisals. Ones which this conclave could not survive, fractured as you are. Not unless you came together and formed a nation of your own. It would be difficult. No, impossible. I'm certain you would fail. Think of your people, all of you. Think of the lives at stake.
We deserve our autonomy, even if we must fight for it. Anything less would be surrender.
Fleeing someone else's laws and authority is one thing, setting up your own is another. We're an island of misfits and dissidents. We'll still have to surrender some of our autonomy, and we won't agree on what that means overnight. We'll be vulnerable. Without allies, other powers will see us as ripe for the picking. Know that this is a hard road to walk.
We were fine before Adir came. We'll be fine when they're gone.
I think we ran things perfectly fine before your kin got here.
Though I'm hardly eager to work with any of you, I like the idea of twisting beneath Adir's boot heel even less. But the wardens cannot continue their vigil without water. If the others would fix our aqueduct, we're in.
It's a nice idea, but consider the costs. If we walk away from a relationship with Adir, we're leaving a lot of trade on the table. But the people of Thirdborn have friends in the world. I'm sure we'd find our way through.
With the Envoy's support, we'd have a god in our pocket. What could the Empire do to stop us? When my people return to Fjord, we could create such miracles of animancy, the Living Lands would become the breadbasket of the world.
Rest into bounty. Does the winter frost dissuade the seeds? Many fruits on our boughs. We graft many leaves into strength.
Of course. Well, don't leave me in suspense. Oh, gods have mercy.
Solace and her wardens stand vigil with the Living Lands.
By grit and steel, Thirdborn stands with the Living Lands.
Fjord and her animancers stand with the Living Lands.
We deserve this opportunity. Thank you for believing in us.
Fighting a battle together is easy. I just hope everyone's willing to stick it out when it comes to the politics.
God, they made the right decision for once.
Finally, some sense permeates the proceedings.
On your head be the consequences. That leaves the matter of Ludwine and the Steel Garrote. She will never surrender, Envoy. You must kill her, or we will lose Paradis, and eventually the island.
The Living Lands will never be free until we break the chain around our necks. Ludwine must die her final death.
She better say her goodbyes while she can.
I'm proud to fight at your side, Envoy. One last time.
Let's get to work then. We've got a walking corpse to bury.
The Paradis militia will be at your back. Give her no quarter. The future waits for you.
Thank you for deserving it. Now, go and teach the Steel Garrote a lesson they will never forget.
Show them that the Living Lands will not be broken across Vodka's knee.
We will send reinforcements to help you reclaim the Eastern Gate. From there, work your way to the main plaza. May all the gods of Eora and the Living Lands protect you.
Let's take back the city together. Show the Steel Garrote how the Living Lands takes care of its own.
Time to stop the Steel Garrote. Lead the way, Envoy.
Defenses up!
good.
Hold it. Take your best shot. Next one's mine. Stop.
You won't get through this!
Go ahead. I'll hang back and watch the gate. For our freedom!
Just what everyone needs at the end. Someone to watch him die.
Either you're made of iron, or a deer in armor is better than I thought.
Barely holding on, really. I'll always thank the gods that we took down the mines and crippled the living land's resistance. Thank you, Envoy. I'm pleased the gods granted me the opportunity to serve Adia. On that note, I'm glad to see you. I can't believe, after everything we accomplished in Shadowscarp, that you would betray the Emperor. Why, Envoy? And the others here are deserving. Why? Because they made it here some number of years before us? You won't stop us. Even if I'm food for worms. One way or another, these lands belong to Adir.
Found you!
See honor!
Envoy over here. What exactly do you think you're doing?
Liviana, don't you ever take a break?
You nearly died in my clinic. Correction, you did die. And now look at you, fighting the Steel Garrote. What have you got to say for yourself? Well, at least you're alive. Try and keep it that way. Kai, is this your doing?
Come on. I couldn't have kept him out of the action if I wanted to.
I knew you were a bad influence. We're patching up folks as best we can, but I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. War is a damn bloody mess. You're damn lucky to be one of those few. At least for now. I can't say I approve of you leaping into the fray, but it's always nice catching up with a former patient. Wait a second. Jada? Jada Castell? What are you doing in the middle of this?
Surviving. It's good to see you, Liviana. Unfortunately, we're on a tight schedule. Do you need anything? Money? Supplies?
Once this is over, I could always use another pair of hands at the clinic. The invitation's still open.
Thank you, but I've decided to tough it out as an animancer. On my own terms. Can you manage without me?
Are you kidding? I'm happy for you. Besides, I've got Chico on bandage duty. I just wanted you to know there's a place here whenever you want it. Gods be with you, Envoy. For my sake, try not to die a second time.
Come on.
Take care of
You know
yourself,
this.
Liviana.
You practice
Paradis
with
is
Uncle
gonna need
Pipo
you.
100 times.
What?
I can take care of the plaza.
I'll teach you!
Monica demands your submission. Stand against her and fall.
That's Ludwig ahead. Lead on. I'm with you to the end.
There you are.
So, you survived the garden. Did you come all this way just to try your luck again? To kill me more efficiently than last time? My will is stronger than death. That is both my blessing and my curse. Look around, Envoy. Heelguard should have listened. He tried to bring order through compromise. He failed. Order is meant to be imposed by a stern, guiding hand.
Her order wields sharp steel. She must set down her blade.
You can tell Wodaka yourself once we've sent you back to the wheel.
Don't insult my intelligence or my commitment to the cause. Treaties can be burned. The hands which shook over whatever deal you struck can be lopped off at the wrist. As for you, Sapadal's chains are broken, which means your soul is in their grasp. I don't know how deeply you've been compromised, Envoy. And if I don't know, then I cannot suffer you to live. Judgment has been passed. Now comes the sentence. Steel yourself, Envoy. Make this a fight to remember, even in death.
We would not welcome her death. There is still ample shade for her beneath our tree.
And this time, we'll finish the job.
You really believe you can kill me? Do it then. Kill me as no one ever has. Hold nothing back. Give it your all and destroy me.
There's no coming back this time. Prepare yourself for the next world.
Let's finish this. Together.
Once I'm done killing you,
You're a god of flame!
Protect the envoy! Our enemies see you in the stars. We will always grow.
Wasn't wrong!
I need a move.
Again! Wounded! Help me! One last time! Wasn't wrong! Wasn't wrong!
Gather round.
Wasn't wrong! Monica! Where are you? No! Don't abandon me now!
It's desperate, envoy. This is it.
Give me a second.
Wherever Ludwig is now, she must be seething.
Of course, we'd be happy to kill her again, if needed.
She's done for, but we're not. Whatever's next, we'll face it. Together.
Gods, you're all gonna make me sick. But carry on.
Unraveled at last. We no longer feel her wire against our flesh. We are free always. We are free forever.
Silence falls over Paradis, as though the city is holding its breath. Then you hear it, the ringing of a distant bell, the waving of banners, and cheers of victory. After a short and bloody conflict, the dust has finally begun to settle. You feel Sapadal close to your thoughts, stirring with interest. The god of the living lands is observing this moment, unfettered by confusion or fear. For the first time in centuries, they understand. The Paradis militia rallies to you, the outsider who defended them in their hour of need. Whatever happens next, you have won their confidence. You take a moment to reflect on the calm. Not so long ago, you arrived at these shores on a simple errand, which turned out to be anything but simple. The dream scourge is over, and the island has been cleansed of plague. A time of healing and mourning follows. People look to you for answers about the source of the affliction. You tell them the truth, how the plague came from a power beyond mortal understanding, and how it is finally at peace. Thanks to you, the living lands has escaped Adiran oppression. The free settlements unite under a common banner and begin the fraught process of negotiating new traditions and values. The Empire withdraws. The frontier remains wild, but not for long. Fugitives no more. The rebels of Paradis return to their home and to other free settlements, bringing their skills and secrets wherever needed. For once, they have a future. The refugees of Emerald Stair resettle in Thirdborn, bringing their skills and research to aid the local community. What starts as an uneasy partnership blossoms into a bond of trust. Through shared adversity, they find common ground. In time, the people of Emerald Stair return to their city of Fior Messiverno. Research yields new developments in the struggle against nature. Technology is shared among the united settlements. The Empire cannot get in the way of progress. For the people of Shatterscarp, independence is bittersweet. Those who cannot withstand the grief inflicted by Ringgrim's spell leave the settlements, vanishing into the wilderness. Those who remain find themselves forced to cooperate with others, often begrudgingly. With so many dead, the need to stave off hunger outweighs any distaste for certain trading partners. Solace Keep clings to its long-held isolation at first. But after mourning her friend Kostya, Mihala reluctantly deigns to open the doors of the fortress. Some dwarves greet newcomers with glee. Others still mutter darkly about outsiders. Mihala flounders in her earliest negotiations with the rest of the living lands, but slowly learns compromise. She develops a taste for Valian sweets. As the din of battle fades and the dust settles in Paradis, Kai finds himself alone again. He longs to enjoy the camaraderie that follows a skirmish, but something is missing. The songs ring hollow in his chest, and the drink lands dry in his throat. He packs what little he has and makes for the coast. He doesn't know where he will go, only that his time in the living lands is through. There was a lifeline here, but he never quite grasped it. He will drift. With his travels alongside the envoy complete,
Marius is left directionless once again. Rather than disappearing into his cups, however, Marius leans on his time among his companions to give him the strength to re-enter society and find comfort in civilization. He establishes a route between Paradis and Thirdborn, guiding travelers between the two in return for money and supplies. And while he has a reputation for being aloof, he joins the campfires from time to time, sharing stories of his time with the envoy that most travelers believe are completely made up. Giada continues to improve as an animancer. She dedicates her work to the spiritual health of the living lands, nurturing instead of exploiting. Others follow her example, seeking her tutelage from lands far and wide. In the years to come, rumors spread of a secret society gathering in the wilderness, where animancers work in harmony with nature. The dream of Fior Mes Iverno lives on in her. No longer under the threat of imminent death, Yardsley returns to the Animancers. Reunited with her beloved Quilici, she helps him and the Animancers as they put their lives together after the attack on Fior Mes Iverno. Eventually, she even has something nice to say to Vidaro. As the days pass in contentment and relative peace, Yardsley is struck by the persistent feeling that something is missing. Though she still devotes herself to her studies of both the arcane and the godless, the restlessness never goes away. Freed from torment for the first time in centuries, Sapadal turns their prodigious curiosity to the people that shaped them. They observe the ways their people live, and they think deeply about what they see. Though they flinch away from moments of violence, and they grieve souls returned to them too soon, the rage that once shook cities to rubble no longer rules them. Instead, they come to you with questions. They want to understand. After a time, they begin tentatively to garden. Where they can, they improve the lives of Kith, and the suffering that troubled them is reduced, if never fully eradicated. Their grief compels them to love, and they love unreservedly, with the power of a god. Sapadal pours a fragment of their power into the statue they claimed from the temple of Aethys. Newly embodied, they roam the living lands and learn to experience the world as Kith do. Their first attempts at locomotion are clumsy, and a stand of innocent trees is violently returned to the wheel. But as their confidence grows, so does their grace. Soon, they are bounding across the plains of eastern Dawnshore, leaping the river gorge in Emerald Stair, scaling the shark's teeth of Shatterscarp, and fearlessly wading into the Tusk's acid sea. When they break, they come to you to put them back together, and in time, they learn to fix themselves. They wander far afield. You see less of them, but they are never far from your thoughts, and on the rare occasion they return, they always bring you something beautiful and strange. The sounds of celebration pull you out of reverie. Many are waiting to greet you with open arms. You take a moment to catch your breath and savor it, because everything is about to change.